Hey guys, I'm here. Today we're going to be checking out the new ROCKSTARS breakdown for the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. If you haven't seen my reaction to this special, go check it out. It's on the channel right now. I had a blast with this thing, man. At the same time, it was hilarious. It was so heartfelt. And my lord, did I wish I had some tissues because it got me so worked up quite a few times throughout the thing. Mantis and Drax stole the show, but at the end of the day, it had this heart, this power behind it that was a lot of fun. And with everything going on, I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that we missed. So that's why New ROCKSTARS is here to help alleviate. So with that said, guys, if you are not subscribed to New ROCKSTARS, go check them out. Check out their merch. And yeah, guys, let's hop in. Here we go.
Welcome back to New ROCKSTARS. I'm Eric Voss, and this is a breakdown of the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, another Marvel Studios special presentation, a wholesome holiday story that brings home the bacon, hides in some festive MCU Easter eggs, and sets up some big details for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So let's break it down shot by shot for everything you missed. And thanks to Boxu for sponsoring this video. More on their tasty offerings later. We again see Marvel's special presentation fanfare with Michael Giacchino's bongo music and graphics inspired by the 70s CBS special presentation fanfare. But then the Marvel Studios title has replaced the flipping comic book pages
with a bunch of Christmas issues.
In the Marvel Comics lore. Among these, we see Hulk Santa with Little Avengers. It's actually art by Salvat Nottolina. Some Avengers stockings. There's a Cap-themed one, a Hulk-themed one, a Spider-Man one. A shot of Carol Danvers with Santa. I think that's in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I called that out on my full length. It just didn't make it into the final cut, though.
As Detective Nick St. Christopher. Snow drifts over all this Marvel Studios fanfare. And as always, the interior of the letters has been updated with new heroes. She-Hulk has been added to the A.
Hell yeah.
She thunderclaps Daredevil in episode 8. Briefly, in the M and the A, we see Gamora and Peter Quill side by side, the long-lost lovers of the Guardians, whom we hope will reunite ever since the 2014 variant of Gamora parted ways with the Guardians in the final minutes of Endgame. Kamala Khan is still in the R, but now they've added Shuri from Black Panther Wakanda Forever to the V, and then, of course, some nice Christmas string lights all around the logo. Now, the music under this is the Pogues' 1987 Fairy Tale of New York, really the best Irish drinking song Christmas carol there is, though careful with this one, the lyrics do get pretty effed up at one point. It's from the point of view of an Irishman in a New York drunk tank, singer Shane MacGowan, recalling fights that he had with his ex, a woman whose Broadway dreams he crushed, her part sung by Christy McCall. James Gunn never picks songs randomly. They're always a diegetic compliment from in-universe mixtapes or other sources telling the subtextual story of the characters. The final scene reveals this song is a metaphor for Yondu and Peter Quill's relationship. The dialogue between the couple in the song, I could have been someone, well, so could have anyone. You took my dreams from me when I found you, and then I kept them with me, babe. I put them with my own. I built my dreams around you. Such is Peter Quill and Yondu's problematic relationship. Yondu kidnapped Peter. He trafficked a child. He spared that kid's life by not delivering him to Ego, but still forced that kid into a life of piracy and abuse. Yondu took Peter's dreams, but put them with his own and built his dreams around Peter.
You know, just speaking of that, you know, once he realized what was going to happen to him, he ended up keeping him for himself. Because, you know, if he truly wanted to do the good-hearted thing, he could have easily just taken him back home. But nope. He, like he said at one point or another, he was small, so he was very useful at getting into certain situations and helping them out with certain tasks. So, yeah. But it worked out in the end.
It's not great, but at least Yondu gave everything he had in his life to Peter to try to make up for what he did. Now in these opening minutes, we see a 2D animated version of the Eclector, that's the Ravager's ship, and young Peter Quill, probably shortly after he was abducted when he's decorating a Christmas tree with Kraglin. And this graded floored chamber is actually the same exact spot on the Eclector where the Guardians first came together in the 2014 film. The steel crate that Kraglin sits on looks a lot like the one that Rocket stands on in that scene. Now the credits list Stupid Buddy Studios for the 2D animation services in the special. That's Seth Green's animation company that does Robot Chicken. This animation
it makes sense.
Like the rotoscoping that we saw in the 1970s.
It did have a little bit of that vibe to it, and I agree with what he's saying here.
Rings or the 1981 heavy metal, but in this case with a much lower frame rate, like it was like 6 frames per second here. So this does give off the 80s nostalgia that these special presentations always had. Really the era of history that James Gunn clearly loves the most, but with very expressionistic human characters that really prioritize the emotion of this moment. Yondu says,
"What in the fires of Ogord y'all think you doing?"
Yes, Ogord refers to Stakar Ogord, that's Sylvester Stallone's character from Guardians Volume 2, the overall leader of the Ravagers. Remember, the colors of Ogord is the fireworks salute that the Ravagers get in their funerals. Initially, Yondu is denied this by Stakar, but eventually reclaims and earns. Notice how in that pile are presents wrapped for Kraglin and Yondu and others, but Yondu hates the idea of Christmas and handouts.
That may be okay for you mushy.
As we see later, Taserface.
He types on terror, but out here in the cold rigors of space is what'll get you killed.
Yeah, this is the kind of mushy sentiment that will, when Yondu
Yep.
gives Peter his breathing
Yep.
apparatus in Volume 2, expose Yondu to the cold rigors of space that take his life. Now, Kevin Feige mentioned in the promo that James Gunn pitched this special while on the set of Guardians Volume 2, and Gunn went home to write it in 3 days. So Yondu's sacrifice in that film was likely fresh on his mind when writing this one.
Yeah.
He threatens to make them clean the latrines.
But that's Jeff's favorite job.
Yeah, Geff is the Ravager played by Steve Agee, Gunn's longtime collaborator in the Guardians movies and
I didn't realize he was in these movies, man. Whoops.
the Suicide Squad. We learn this is all a story being told by Kraglin.
And that's how Yondu ruined Christmas forever.
Yes, framing this opening animation as Kraglin's version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. He says,
Anyways, I just saw on the multi-calendar that right now on Earth it's almost Christmas time, so.
the multi-calendar is a new bit of MCU world building, likely explaining how different planets keep track of years and dates across galaxies and solar systems since time would be relative. Nebula
True.
reveals,
Ever since buying Nowhere from the Collector, we don't have time.
I thought that was a huge reveal, man.
This place needs a lot of fixing up before it's livable.
yes, Nowhere, the severed head of the Celestial, home of the Collector in the 2014 film and wrecked by Thanos in Infinity War when he took the Reality Stone. But now the Guardians have bought Nowhere from the Collector in the aftermath of those events, which tells us that Tanler Tavan did survive. We did see his golden blue ship departing in the beginning of Loki episode 6.
Yeah.
It's not clear yet how the Guardians got the money to buy Nowhere or why they want it. I did speculate that Quill might want this location, hoping Gamora will wander back there. Maybe Tavan is broke and the Guardians got a good deal and they just want control over the celestial brain matter mining operation. But either way, this does set up their home base for Guardians Volume 3, when the Guardians
And hold up. I want to rewind just a little bit. Tell me that doesn't look like a gonk droid. These little crates. I know they're individually, like individual boxes, but my God, that's the first thing I thought of. I was like, man, that looks like a gonk droid to me.
3, when the Guardians will meet Aisha's Adam Warlock, played by Will Poulter, and have to deal with Herbert Wyndham, the High Evolutionary, played by Chukwudi Iwuji. You can see the circular portal to space
Another,
in the distance behind them. That is the
alum
celestial eye
from
through which you
Peacemaker,
enter this
man.
place. And as before, this whole mining colony is a sandy floor. And nearby, there's a neon sign showing an Orloni rat. Those are the scurrying rodents that are everywhere and are pitted against each other in fights in a lot of these Nowhere bars. Now, in this Nowhere town, there is a sign written in Cree letters. Going down, it reads M, then I'm not sure about that one, but then T, then D, and then in the second column, VSIU. Gibberish! Drax says,
I hate stories where everybody lives.
maybe a meta comment on the MCU as a whole, where not enough major characters die overall, but note how in movies where Drax is there, major character deaths are more common.
And James Gunn has pretty heavily hinted that we're going to lose a couple Guardians in the next movie. So this is a nice, wholesome little break before maybe stuff gets a little darker.
Rocket works with Cosmo, the space dog, to rebuild some buildings. In the movies, Cosmo first appeared in the 2014 Guardians
Yep.
of the Galaxy in the Collector's Vault and was revealed to have survived its destruction in the post-credit scene. His CCCP spacesuit comes from the fact that he is a Soviet space dog from the 60s, a reference to the tragic real-world Russian space pup of Laika. Cosmo in the comics is telepathic and telekinetic. Here, the dog levitates building panels and speaks through a voice collar like Doug in Pixar's Up.
I need to see Up, man. I've never watched it. I've seen the iconic opening, but I've never actually watched the movie.
Delicious treats in that bag.
Also, Cosmo,
Cosmo is
adorable.
voiced by Maria Bakalova, and I just love her little giggle when Cosmo gets a treat. The band The Old 97s cameos is a group of Nowhere musicians. There's Beezer Mickey Takalak, that's the lead singer Rhett Miller. There's Kortol Bukalia, that's Murray Hammond. There's Slia Vostalju, that's Ken Bethea. And there's Floco, Philip Peoples. Beezer says,
Everything I
This
know about
song
Christmas, I learned from
was
Rocket, and
a
learned from Cosmo, and
goddamn
learned from
bop.
Kraglin,
I
and learned from
fucking
you.
loved it.
so that means Kraglin talked about Christmas with Cosmo the Space Dog, and then Cosmo the Space Dog talked about it via his confusing Russian voice collar to the Trash Panda, and the Trash Panda told all this to Beezer, Purple Monkey Dishwasher. And you can see little evidence of all those characters and how they look at the world in these weird lyrics.
Yep.
The song is called I Don't Know What Christmas Is. It's performed here by the Old 97s. Lyrics were written by James Gunn himself. Santa is a furry freak with epic superpowers. He flies to every human home in under 14 hours. He's a master burglar, a pro at picking locks. If you don't leave milk and cookies out, he will put dung in your socks.
That's
Quill
not part of
denies
the
this, but
lore.
there are Christmas traditions around the world where Santa is more of a trickster, but you can see how a lot of this is just coming from Rocket's imagination.
Yeah.
Respect someone who is a pro at picking locks, and this whole idea of dung in your socks likely came from coal in your stocking, of course,
Yeah.
which is hilarious because Rocket might interpret coal to be a kind of dung that can be used as fuel, because in his mind, coal is just a fossil fuel, fossilized remains of animals and plants, in a way.
Fair.
The on-screen credits are in a Christmassy red font, looking a lot like the opening titles of A Christmas Story. Groot has now grown up quite a bit from the scrawny teenager he was when we
Yeah.
saw him. Our man's clearly been lifting some weights. He can't help but rock out.
He's
like he did when he was
juicing.
dancing to Mr. Blue Sky in the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 opening. And I gotta point out the second verse of the song. He's compelled his creepy elves to do his every wish. One sought to be a dentist, now he's sleeping with the fish. Mrs. Claus, she works the
Oh,
pole plate.
I didn't even think about that. The dentist line. Oh, God. He killed him. Oh, what was that elf's name? Oh, wow. I don't remember, but damn. That's rough. That's funny.
Plans for man's demise. Soon the elves will all rise up and stab out Santa's eyes. Again, a very Rocket interpretation of the Santa legend.
Yeah.
A creepy old man who sees you when you're sleeping and knows when you're awake. And it makes sense to wonder why the North Pole is a literal pole in the Santa mythology. Also, I love the moment when Brett sings,
What the heck's a turtle dove? And who lit up that deer?
questions that Quill is legitimately stumped by. Like, who did do that to Rudolph? And it makes sense for Rocket to see a parallel. Someone experimented on Rudolph to put a cybernetic red nose that lights up so that they can exploit him and use him in the same way that Rocket was torn apart and experimented on and had pieces shoved into him. Rocket, the red nose, Trash Panda, and Drax and Mantis reveal something big here.
Because of, you know, my secret. The one only you know.
That you ate the entire bowl of Zognuts in the commissary?
My other secret.
That you're Quill's sister?
Ah, yes, as has been speculated, Mantis is another one of Ego's children, one that Ego did not murder, making Mantis Peter Quill's half-sister. Guardians Volume 2 did hint at this during Ego's backstory, showing one of the mates that he hooked up in that big orgy being the same race as Mantis. That must have been Mantis's mother. Mantis reminds us how Ego killed Peter's mother, Meredith, and tried to kill Peter, and because Mantis is the group's empath, she talks about Peter's general emotions.
He's so sad about Gamora being gone.
Yeah, notice how Mantis is off-screen for that line about Gamora. Obviously, this was shot after Endgame came out, but this line might still have been tagged on later during ADR to reference Gamora not being with them, because really, otherwise, Gamora just doesn't come up at all in the story.
Yeah.
Drax and Mantis decide to go get Kevin Bacon, the star of Footloose, whom Peter Quill has brought up several times.
I've never seen Footloose, guys. I've never seen it. It's another one of those movies, man.
Past films, and we cut to Kevin Bacon coming home and taking a call from Kira, voice.
I think Tremors was the first Kevin Bacon movie I saw. I can't say that I've seen many. I could probably list most of them. Tremors, Hollow Man, Stir of Echoes, X-Men First Class. Wow, is that it? I think that's it. I think those are the only Kevin Bacon films I've seen, unless I'm blanking. But off the top of my head, I think I've only seen 4 Kevin Bacon films.
By his actual wife, actress Kira Sedgwick. Drax and Mantis depart nowhere in their new ship. Now, in the earlier Guardians movies, this ship was the Milano, for Alyssa Milano. In Infinity
Also
War,
never
Endgame,
seen
it
Dirty
was the
Dancing.
Benatar, for Pat Benatar. And now this special establishes the third ship as the Bowie.
Kraglin, prepare the Bowie for his transport back to Earth.
Obviously named after David Bowie,
Yeah.
whose Moon Age Daydream was the track that played when we first arrived to Nowhere in the 2014 film. They pass through the hexagonal UNTN grid and then through a second jump that takes them directly to Earth, where
You know, speaking of, I never even put that together. The Benatar. I just assumed that was some weird spacey name, but like Pat Benatar, that makes so much sense. Ah, and I love Pat Benatar.
they were pointed directly at Southern California. The music here is Christmas Treat, that was originally the SNL sketch, here covered by Julian Casablancas. They fly over the Hollywood Hills, you can see the Hollywood Reservoir there. They freak out the residents, who definitely shouldn't be that freaked out by seeing an alien spaceship in the MCU at this point.
Yeah, but like I've said, my reaction is like, every time something like this happens, things go to shit. Everything gets destroyed, blown up. It's never a good thing. So that's what it looked like they were recording. That one lady was just like, oh no. She was just like, no, 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 not again. That's the whole vibe I got from it.
But it's because because Drax forgot to use the cloaking function. This is just like the tech that was used on the Skrull space station in Captain Marvel. Mantis and Drax tour Hollywood Boulevard in front of the Chinese theater. That's where in Iron Man 3 an extremist suicide bomber attacked. In real life, where Jessica Clemens and I saw Thor: Love and Thunder. Like in Hawkeye in Times Square, here we see a mix of pop culture impersonators: Zorro, Captain Jack Sparrow, who has a fanny pack, there's a really tall Ant-Man, presumably Giant Man, he's got a backpack on, and a Captain America actor. And in the credits, this guy's listed as Thomas McNamara, who had a small role in Nathan Fielder's HBO series The Rehearsal. I highly recommend watching that, it's amazing. We see a Carol Danvers and a Natasha Romanoff and a GoBot, which really triggers Drax.
I'm sorry, GoBots killed his cousin.
So I guess the Tonka counterpart to Transformers from the 80s exists as a space entity in the MCU. That's fun. They take selfies.
That's hilarious, though. Which is interesting because Transformers, last time I checked, is a Marvel, like as far as comics go, is under the Marvel umbrella for their comic run. So that could have been an easy pull right there, right? Well, no, because Hasbro and Paramount, I think, own the rights for the film stuff for Transformers, so they probably couldn't put them in here for that reason. But Marvel Comics does have them in the universe. But anyway.
The God of War.
Yeah, Kratos reference.
Michelle Gunn, James and Sean Gunn's sister-in-law. The kids might also be part of the family. But she thinks Drax is Kratos from God of War, which, given Drax's colors in the MCU, it's a fair comparison.
I wanted to bring that up in the reaction because I didn't miss it. I heard it, but like that scene just keeps going, man. I didn't have time to comment on it, so it was just like I was just chuckling at that along with everything else that was going on.
Now notice all the movie posters around here are ones starring Kingo. That's Kumail Nanjiani's movie.
I didn't even notice that one. I noticed the Christmas one later.
This is also seen behind Santa with the bell.
Wow.
Kingo's character is battling demons in the sequel. Later at night, you can see another another Kingo Christmas movie. Since Kingo was taken from Earth by Arishem at the end of Eternals, these might be movies that he had already shot that are already in post-production and studios just now releasing. Drax and Mantis take their money to a nearby bar, which you can see later is named Yarvo's, a nod to James Gunn's friend, director David Yarovsky, whom he nicknames Yarvo. Based on Musso and Frank's behind them, this street must be Cherokee Avenue, and this bar is actually in the place of the real-life bar, Bordner's, where I had my birthday party in 2018. Though this bar interior is not Bordner's, it's a set, it's much bigger, and Bordner's isn't the kind of bar you dance in, it's a place where you sit and cry about how bad your Second City show was. Flula Borg cameos as a bartender. Flula Borg, of course, played Javelin and James Gunn's The Suicide Squad in 2021. Someone tries to get Drax.
First saw him in Pitch Perfect. I think that was the first time I became aware of him.
Calling back Drax's speech to Quill in Guardians Volume 2 about dancers and non-dancers. Sarah, the souvenir salesperson, is played by Rusty Schwimmer. Her map to the stars takes them past the homes of Margot Robbie, Queen Latifah, John Cena, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Saved by the Bell era Mark Gosselaar, and then to Beverly Hills to Kevin Bacon's house. Kevin Bacon watches the 1964 film Santa Claus Conquers the Martians. And to the left of the TV,
see, I wondered what this was.
Hung up with names Travis, Kira, and Sosie. Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick's kids are named Travis and Sosie. And Sosie Bacon actually just starred in the horror film Smile earlier this year.
God, I need to see that. I want to see it so bad, but I haven't had time.
And Kevin Bacon's house address is 1988, which is
that's when I was born.
Abducted by the Ravagers. Kevin stays remarkably calm when his Vivint security camera suddenly shows a close-up of Mantis' massive pupils. And maybe it's just something about Vivint that makes it so calming and makes you feel secure. Now, when Kevin hangs up on them, Mantis says,
"Look what you did."
And because this is a Christmas special, I am obligated to connect this to as many Christmas movies as I can. And how can we not reference Uncle Frank from Home Alone?
Look what you did, you little jerk.
Drax tosses Mantis over the gate.
I think that's a little bit of a stretch, but we'll go with it.
Easily, meaning he probably could have just leapt with her, piggybacking. As Kevin Bacon flees around his home, we hear Fountains of Wayne's I Want an Alien This Christmas, which is ironic because from Drax and Mantis' point of view,
that shot,
as a Christmas present.
that sequence of her hopping off of everything, oh God. It's terrifying.
Is Kevin Bacon. Mantis is terrifying.
Yes.
Surface to surface like a xenomorph. Her warrior snarls are always so fun. Like we first saw her making her angry face in the background during Infinity War when Peter Quill told them to put on their mean faces when they were on the Benatar. Pretty much anytime the camera's pointed at Palm Klementieff, she's doing something interesting. Kevin jumps on the balcony under the hedges lined with these Christmas lights, looking a lot like Clint Barton when he jumped into the 30 Rock Christmas tree.
She's like one of my favorite additions to the MCU, man. She's great.
We get the best stunt action we've ever seen.
Yeah, man.
She takes down these cops, but then just puts them to sleep. Drax meanwhile flips the squad car, and Mantis checks in on the cops. The male cop is actually credited as Officer R. Bobbitt, a nod to Russell Bobbitt, longtime Marvel Studios art department crew member, but he's played by Barry Curtis, head of Marvel Studios security. He cameoed as a security guard in a parking lot in Captain Marvel. This is the same Barry Mark Ruffalo worried about when he accidentally spoiled Infinity War.
Wait till you see this next one. Everybody dies.
Dude.
Not everybody. No. Then am I in trouble?
A little.
Is Barry gonna be mad at me?
When Mantis grabs Kevin Bacon's face to hypnotize him,
I still
Kevin Bacon
love
makes the
that,
same
man.
slapshot look that he makes to Sebastian Shaw when James McAvoy, Charles Xavier, freezes his body in X-Men First Class. After they raid the Christmas shop on the trip back, notice how Drax now wears that Pizza Cat laser eyes sweater, but he wears his Guardian's badge over the sweater. I love it. Kevin says that he does know Henry Winkler the Fonz, having gone to dinner with him once, but they ask him about his experiences in Footloose when he saved the town through dancing and when he fought Jason Voorhees in Friday the 13th, and he references
5 movies. I forget about this movie. Friday the 13th, man. He was in there.
how his character got stabbed through the neck with an arrow. But this is actually how Peter Quill almost died in the 2014 film when Yondu
That is
an
a
arrow
good
directly over his
point.
throat. But learning that he's an actor offends them deeply.
He's an actor! He's never actually saved anyone.
But actors are repugnant.
I know. It makes me feel gross and creepy when they pretend to be someone else.
Remember, Drax and Mantis are the most sincere of the Guardians. They're devoid, really, of any irony or falseness.
Yeah.
Metaphors are gonna go over his head. Nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast. I would catch it.
So the idea of someone pretending to be a character just disgusts them on that physical level. And it's hilarious how they just keep trying with him.
Kevin Bacon, you have to pretend you're an actual hero or else Christmas is doomed.
Blimey, mate. I can't wait to storm them Nazis on the beach.
What are you doing?
I'm a hero, ain't I, then? I'm a private in the British Army during World War II.
And then Kevin Bacon references the Batman.
Yeah.
I'm the Batman. And I mean, hello, I'm Bruce Wayne.
Who's Bruce Wayne?
Yes, it is a little weird for DC to get referenced in Marvel, but Eternals already broke that seal with references
Yeah.
to both Batman and Superman. Really, all of pop culture exists in the MCU. Now, back on Nowhere, notice how Peter's shirt
Hey, likewise, DC Universe references Thor and stuff like that all the time. Spider-Man, like, it's just adorable. You have to fall back on references outside of your own world to make it feel somewhat grounded. Like, hey, how about that thing, like Spider-Man does it all the time with aliens, with, Star Wars. Well, technically, those are all things that Disney does own, so it's not that out there. But the Marvel comics exist in the DC universe, so, like, why not?
has a little blue alien in Cree letters written on it. The middle word translates to crunchy with a K. To the left of that, smaller, is sassy. To the right, sweet. And beneath that H, it looks like the word dots. So maybe this is a Cree snack food? Sassy, crunchy, sweet dots? I'm only assuming snacks because in Guardians Volume 2, Peter Quill had that gray shirt that was in Darien letters for Gears Shift, Dust, Cement, Stone, Ash, a Tinian Galaxy invention, Tinian being the name of the prop designer who made this shirt. And when asked about this, Chris Pratt said in an interview that the shirt logo was like a candy wrapper, like the logo for some alien Reese's Pieces. Peter freaks out when he realized they kidnapped Kevin Bacon.
This isn't a Christmas gift. This is human trafficking.
And again, Peter hates this because he was also kidnapped and trafficked from Earth.
Yeah.
The same thing happened to his childhood hero. Meanwhile, Kevin pisses off Rocket.
That's a talking raccoon.
I'll kill you.
Again, Rocket is not a
Yeah.
raccoon. He hates being called that. We're going to learn exactly what Rocket is in Guardians Volume 3, most likely one of the animal hybrid experiments by Herbert Wyndham.
Oh
the
god,
Evolutionary.
it's gonna
Now,
break
as
me,
a
I know
holiday
it.
Special, this does, in a way, parallel the Star Wars holiday special, where the central premise of that was everyone trying to give Chewbacca a happy life day. And actually, Mark Hamill himself does an uncredited cameo as a partier chugging some liquor. The
Wait,
same
what?
inflatable-
I thought that was a weird zoom in, but I couldn't recognize the shit out of anybody. What? That was Mark Hammy Ham? What? Doesn't even look like him. Kinda. Yeah. You gotta give him some milk or I'm not gonna be able to figure this out, guys.
Flicker, the Santa inflatable deflates and drops onto his dumb hat. Kraglin gives Kevin Bacon a pep talk.
You saved a town through dancing. And once Pete saved the whole galaxy with dancing, for real.
Yeah.
You taught him how to be a hero.
Yes, reminding us of
Ronan.
Peter saving the galaxy by distracting Ronan with a dance-off. Kraglin's right, that did all come from Kevin Bacon. Meanwhile, Kara Sedgwick calls Kevin.
How on earth do you get reception up here?
A couple of good satellite dishes out front will get you anything within about 400 million light years.
This might explain how Bruce Banner Hulk was able to talk to Jen Walters from space in She-Hulk episode 2. Apparently, they've just set up satellites everywhere. So Kevin Bacon decides to stick around and jam with the old 97s. Quill gives Groot an original Game Boy. Remember,
Hell yeah.
Groot played an old school handheld Defenders game, so this is an upgrade. Also, how
That's
much did
true.
Peter Quill have in that backpack when he got abducted? Meanwhile, Nebula gives Rocket freaking Bucky's vibranium arm? What?
Yeah.
Rocket has always wanted Bucky's arm ever since they met in Infinity War.
Okay, how much for the arm?
Oh, I'll get that arm.
And to be clear, this is not the original Winter Soldier arm that Bucky lost.
Yeah, that was the new one.
This is the black vibranium arm that he got in Infinity War. And from what we've seen in Phase 4 of the MCU, Bucky has not lost that. The last we saw that arm, it was firmly latched onto his shoulder. Yeah. From the Winter Soldier. But we know the Dora Milaje had a pressure point maneuver to be able to detach that. So Nebula must have either visited Earth recently to steal Bucky's arm, and maybe as someone with the most cybernetic parts, she just knows how to detach his stuff, or maybe Bucky's been to space recently and Nebula stole it then. My theory, I think Bucky and Nebula are fucking, and she snatched it then. Cosmo gives Kraglin a dead Orloni with a bow on it. Mantis returns Drax inflatable elf, but the best gifts come from Groot, who handmade all of these.
Yeah.
The final episode of I Am Groot proved how crafty this tree is. Mantis's display shows the 4 of them on the balcony from the first scene. Peter's shows Drax and Mantis leaping over the hedges, chasing Kevin, meaning Groot must have made this in the past few hours after hearing about all this from the others. Drax's shows Drax flipping the squad car with the 2 cops' eyes bulging out. Nebula shows Kevin coming out of the box. Again, this is all done in the past few minutes. And Kraglin's is the most wild. It shows him opening his present in this moment. And if you look,
oh gosh, it's an infinite loop.
That guy's holding a figurine of himself. That guy's holding a figurine of himself. It looks like Groot went like 5 layers deep with this. I don't know how his clumsy fingers were able to assemble these miniatures. But again, he does have like little twigs and vines to snake off. Maybe.
Well, I mean, they're made of wood, so he could just maybe theoretically manifest them out of his body in those shapes already. I don't think he sat there and willed it.
He used those to really get in there. And as they say goodbye to Kevin Bacon, initially Rocket is not waving.
God, Mantis looks so cute in that outfit, man.
Hey, I'll see you at Easter.
Could be a throwaway line, but Easter could be a Volume 3 clue, because Adam Warlock is kind of like a space Jesus who's about to emerge from his cave or his cocoon, I guess. So who knows, with this line, maybe Kevin Bacon could return in Guardians Volume 3. Peter reveals to Mantis that there was more to Yondu's Christmas story. We see Yondu back in that 2D animation, finding the tree trash bin, and in there you can see another Taser face. Remember, that's a mutinous Ravager for Volume 2. Yondu unwraps Peter's gift to him, an alien figurine. This is starting Yondu's pastime of collecting trinkets for his dashboard. Like
oh, that makes that so much more sad and happy and more fuzzy. I didn't even put that together. That I thought that was something he was already doing. I didn't even think that was the first one. Even though it's the only one on the dashboard. I just thought that was just convenience of animation, I didn't even it didn't even cross my mind. That started it. So his obsession with adding more of these is all from that gift with Peter. Oh my lord, that is so sweet.
Volume 2, when he sat in the Quadrant cockpit, you saw that jewel frog from the Xandar shop and the troll doll that Peter trolls him with at the end of the first film. And Yondu returns his favor by giving Peter his element guns. So the guns that we've seen Peter with throughout all these movies originally came from his papa, Yondu. And Mantis finally tells Peter the truth.
Your father, Peter.
Ego? You might be what?
My father, too.
Wait, so does that make you my sister? Mantis. That's the greatest Christmas gift I could ever get.
Yeah, I love how Mantis cries independent of feeling another person's emotion. This is a rare, genuine emotion of her own. I have another video coming out tomorrow that digs deeper into what the whole genetics history is with Mantis and Ego and Peter Quill, and what it tells us about Phase 5 and beyond. Now the song, The Fairy Tale of New York, returns, revealed to be the music on Yondu's speakers. He punches Peter in the shoulder, and Peter punches back like Scut Farkus and Grover Dill in A Christmas Story. And they blast off, and it looks like Star Wars hyperspace. They leave a trail of fireworks behind, looking like the colors of Ogord. Now a little post-credit scene here.
Come on, Groot!
Groot ruined Christmas again.
Now we gotta have another special.
Yes, Groot may be a tree, but he's not a Christmas tree. And a little VFX detail I just love, that red streamer slides through the nook of his arm bark as it drops.
Yeah.
They did a really good job with the texturing and how each layer interacts with each other part. But I agree with Rocket, we need another special presentation. One for Easter, or Valentine's Day, Earth Day, 4th of July, or maybe Mother's Day or Father's Day. Because we still have a lot of questions about Meredith Quill.
Yeah, that's true. Also, well, a lot of time, I'm just gonna let this play because there's not much left.
Because James Gunn's gonna have to leave Marvel Studios behind soon to start running the DC universe. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at EABoss.
Follow these guys, man. Epic breakdown. He had a grandfather. Somebody had mentioned this in the comments, and I completely forgot about it, to be honest. He had other family that was there at the hospital before he got abducted. I mean, given a lot of time has passed since then. grandfather might not be around right now. But, you know, you never know. You never know. Yeah, man, this was such a touching, moving, and just heartwarming special, man. And I'm wondering, like, if they do have another special of sorts. You know, Kevin Bacon did say, I'll see you at Easter. So what if there is, like they said, an Easter special just before, you know, around that time or whatever that Guardians 3 comes out? Maybe sometime before that or some kind of lead in. That would be really interesting. Yeah, there's just a lot of fun nuggets, a lot of fun callbacks, a lot of just fun little references throughout this one. There's a couple little details, like he pointed out, that I definitely went over my head. Man, that just the fact that I didn't notice that there was no other figurine on that dashboard at that time when he got that present. It's embarrassing. How dare I? Because that makes that so much more. The whole relationship with Yondu is just really complex, and I really love it. Like I said, he easily could have, out of the goodness of his heart, just taken Peter back home. But he did what he could, and he did his best, I guess. I loved this special, man. I really do. I really do enjoy the Guardians as a group, as a team. And this, you know, I already really enjoyed Mantis's dynamic and what she contributes to the team. But like after this special, she skyrocketed as my favorite member of the team, man. Second favorite member of the team. My favorite of the team is still Rocket. But like, she's up there, man. She's so good. She's so sweet. She's so funny. And Palm just does such a phenomenal job playing this character. Pairing her with Drax was so much fun too. Because like he said, he pointed out, like it was something also I didn't really consider too much, is like that weird kind of bond they developed in Volume 2 and their origins between their powers, her empath abilities, the way she processes and deals with emotions, and then him and his origins with like his people and how matter of fact they are. They don't really BS. They tell things how they are. So he's very open. So like they make a very perfect duo in that way. And it wasn't something I was thinking about while watching it. I really need to know how Nebula got Bucky's arm. Because I'm hoping that's just a replica or something. Or maybe he was sleeping, had it on the nightstand, and she broke in, took it, and left without waking him. That's a whole segment I need to see how that happened, man. And yeah, I know we're going to be diving deep into Rocket's origins from what James has said about Guardians Volume 3. And I just know that's going to like break my heart. I know it will. I know it will. Because every Rocket moment in Volume 1 and Volume 2 always got me. And I'm just waiting to be destroyed by this movie, man. But guys, what did you think of the holiday special? What are your thoughts, your theories? Are there any details that you guys caught that they missed in their breakdown? Sound off the comments. Let me know your thoughts down below. We'll carry on the conversation after the video. Feel free to join us at our Discord. We can talk about it there as well. Links to that in all my social description box below. Follow me in each and every one of those. If you have a reaction to the special itself, go check that out if you haven't already. But guys, before we go, I want to shout out our channel legends: Manny, Cher, Ryan, Karen, Philly Vane, Yori, Corey Scott, Margaret Grace, Melita, Robert Angriano, Raven McGann, Jeffrey Hale, and M. Sephiroth. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. But that's it for this video, guys. Have a happy holiday, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.